All right, I'm also noticing here that we have the wrong AIM number. I never changed the AIM number on here, but this is 11.2, not 4.2. I'll hop in here and kind of take care of this right now, so that for posterity's sake at least. But we are talking about Kublai Khan. So this is Genghis Khan's grandson. We mentioned that the other day. We're talking about Kublai Khan, and we're taking a look at how does he gain and maintain power. All right, so we talked about some responses to the do now question and diversity and what kind of what the benefits and challenges of diversity are, and away we go. All right, I'll give you a second. Okay, our buddy Genghis Khan, who kind of starts this whole thing with the Mongol Empire, Genghis Khan cares about two things: conquering territory, making babies. These are the things that Genghis Khan cares about. He has literally hundreds of children, okay? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. He has a whole harem of women that he makes children with. He has so many kids that today 0.5% of all the males on Earth are related to him in some way. So if you start saying, here's his hundreds of kids, and here's all the kids of those kids, and here's all the kids of those kids, and we start kind of spreading out his kind of family tree, we reach a point where 1 out of 200 males on planet Earth today are related to him. So that kind of puts an interesting perspective on just how prodigious his offspring are. So one of his many grandsons is a guy named Kublai Khan, and he is going to rule the Mongol Empire after Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan is going to die eventually. It will go through some other leadership before it gets to Kublai Khan, but Kublai Khan is really the next notable leader of the Mongol Empire after Genghis Khan is gone. All right, I'll give you a second here. So part of the deal here is we kind of continue to stress really the big takeaways. I can really teach you all the big takeaways that you would need to know in 15 minutes, but for the sake of working with this material and sharpening some of our other skills, we stretch this topic into a few days. But the big takeaways here are giant empire with regard to the size, right? All the way from the Pacific near Japan and China and the Korean Peninsula all the way to Central Europe. And how do they do that? They do that with horsemanship and especially the invention of what's called the stirrup. The stirrup, and that's something that you guys can look up. You know, you're all on computers. The stirrup is the little thing that on a horse saddle that you slide your foot into. And it's almost like, you know, the kind of, I don't really know what you want to call them, but it's the little spaces that you slide your feet into when you saddle a horse. It seems like something relatively simple, but it had a humongous advantage, okay? It lent humongous advantage. Before that, people are just trying like hell to hold on for dear life while they're mounted on horseback, and the stirrup enables warriors to stay on horseback longer and easier than their enemy, and it also enables them to kind of gain way more balance than they would have had without the stirrup, and in turn allows them to kind of perform combat maneuvers on horseback at a way more kind of advanced level and also way quicker and with greater effect. So this whole thing is really about, if we're going to look at invention, interestingly enough, the stirrup here is really the only notable invention to come out of the Mongol Empire. But you can make the argument that all of the success of the Mongol Empire is predicated upon this one particular development, and that is the stirrup and by extension, horsemanship, right? So they gain and maintain all of this territory through mobility. They're nomadic, right? We know they live life on the move. militarism, kind of military activity as a kind of go-to strategy with regard to taking care of their problems. And then last but not least, and I can't stress this enough, inclusive governing tactics. Okay. We talked at the beginning of the period about some of the challenges of kind of managing a diverse society. And this is super true for the Mongol Empire. So one of Kublai Khan's hallmarks is conquered people will be allowed to participate in government. And that is a big deal. Okay. If you are conquered and you find out that for the first time in a long time, you're going to actually have a say in the way you're governed, a lot of times this is an upgrade from the times before you were conquered by the Mongols. So this is a situation where some people will find themselves in a politically better situation than they were previously through these inclusive governing tactics. And these inclusive governing tactics are going to come into play especially once the Mongol Empire conquers China and establishes the Yuan dynasty, because Mongols are outnumbered by Chinese by a lot. Okay, so this inclusive governing strategy is going to play into the Mongols' ability to maintain their power for a really, really long time. Okay, eventually, spoiler alert, being outnumbered will kind of work against them, but these inclusive governing strategies allow them to maintain their power for quite a long time prior to that. So it's certainly worth noting.